So one of the real places that I think we have space for opportunity is getting some clarity on our common language. Because I think we kind of take it for granted that everyone is talking about the same thing when we talk about diversity, but I think it's not the case. I think that everyone is talking about something a little bit differently. And I think that to some degree, this is a word that we need to take back. I think this word has been hijacked from us, diversity. I think it's been hijacked, I think it's been abused, and it's had a lot of narrow and very negative things attached to it. And when you bring up diversity in a corporate setting, it's not uncommon for people to get nervous, to get frustrated, to roll their eyes, to start thinking about things like quotas and affirmative action, or it's race relations, or it's gender, and diversity doesn't mean any of those things. Those things are certainly a part of the conversation, but diversity means difference. That's what the word means. It means difference. Diversity means difference, and difference is a big word, and a powerful word, and a beautiful word. And we need to take this language back a little bit, I think. And difference comes in a lot of different shapes, sizes, and packages and forms. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the kinds of difference that I tend to focus on. And these definitions are just for your consideration. At the end of the day, you have to find definitions that work for you and definitions that work for your organization. They have to be organic for your organization, and they have to make sense there. But diversity means difference. I think one of the most important characteristics of difference, and maybe one of the places where we're confused about it, is that we are talking about something that is a relational attribute. Diversity, difference, exists within the context of relationships. That is the only place that it exists. And it exists in every relationship. You can pick any two people at random from anywhere on this planet and put them in a room together, and there is diversity there. Probably more diversity than they will ever in their lifetimes be able to explore. There's diversity in every single relationship, and that is the only place to find diversity. You don't find diversity in people, you find it between people. We probably have all heard the phrase, we have a diverse candidate coming in to interview today. We generally know what's being communicated when we hear that phrase, but that's not an accurate way to even use the word. A person is not diverse. They have to be different from somebody. A relationship is inherent. This is one of the reasons why the diversity versus talent conversation or debate that bubbles up from time to time is fundamentally misinformed. Talent is an individual attribute. Difference is a relational or a social or a shared attribute. Diversity exists between people, not in people. Not comparing apples to apples. That's I think one of the places where we're confused about what diversity and what difference means. And it's a relational thing, and that's why a lot of this work is about the nature of our relationships. Relationships that we have as individuals, as groups, and organizations. So diversity means difference, and it's a relational thing. And it comes in a lot of different shapes, sizes, and packages. As I said, we're talking about differences in who we are and what we've learned and how we lead and how we interact. All those things are examples of difference. All of those things have different kinds of implications and different values in the workforce. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about difference, and we'll do one of those fun, engaging, entertaining diversity exercises that you all waiting on the edge of your seat for, right? But inclusion means utilization. It means utilization. It doesn't mean tolerance or harmony or hugging or anything like that. It means utilization. Am I, as an organization or an individual, utilizing, taking advantage of the experience, talent, ideas, and potential that I have access to in my workforce or my customer base? Am I utilizing that stuff or not? Am I utilizing what's on the payroll? These are the kinds of difference that I tend to focus on in the workplace, and we'll spend a little bit of time talking about two of them. I talk about identity diversity, and that's where the stuff that we are generally used to talking about exists. This is where things like race and age and gender and ethnicity and orientation live, and we'll talk more about identity diversity. I talk about cognitive diversity, which we'll also touch on a little bit, and cognitive diversity is difference in thinking styles. We are wired differently, we think differently, we see work differently, we see problems differently, we approach problems differently. Cognitive diversity is an increasingly important, increasingly valuable kind of diversity in the workplace, and we'll talk a little bit about why. And I also talk about affective diversity, differences in how we feel about things, and behavioral diversity, because we have different work styles, different communication styles, and all of those things have implications and values in the workplace.